What is up, pickleballers? Today, I have an extremely special guest with me, Joseph Benavidez. He is an MMA legend, competed in the UFC for more than a decade, professional fighter for more than 1.5 decades. He's done just about it all when it comes to MMA. Now he's coming into pickleball, signed a deal with PBX Pickleball, an organization that features high-level retired athletes from other sports and brings them into pickleball competitions. And that's where our conversation begins today. Joseph, I'm super honored to have you on the episode.
This is awesome, man. I appreciate you reaching out. Love pickleball. Like you said, retired MMA fighter, like new, aspiring pickleballer. So, this is my sport now. I haven't stepped into a gym in 2.5 years, just on the courts.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, let's get into it. It's 10 questions, 10 minutes. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. Question 1. How does an MMA legend like you get involved in pickleball in the first place?
Get involved. I actually have my wife to thank me for that. And I'm a big recreational sports guy. I always used to love taking, days off of the week from MMA training, from the grind of MMA, from getting headlocked, from getting punched. And hey, you guys want to go play some volleyball? Or, let's have a basketball before strength and conditioning, or just break out the spike ball to cool down or warm up, whatever, stuff like that. So I was just always into rec sports like that. When I retired, though, I didn't really have an avenue to get my workouts, my competition, anything. I retired from MMA. I didn't really want to go get punched and headlocked again. But then running, biking, anything else like that, just didn't. You felt like you were working out, but you didn't feel like you were building anything. You can't get better. You know what I mean? And, we all know with pickleball, the intricate skills, the details, the competition, the camaraderie, that's all stuff I miss within MMA. So to answer your question, my wife bothered me for like a year. She bought the paddles, and this was during the pandemic. And she's like, everyone's playing this pickleball thing. Like, it looks so fun. There's courts over here. And after retirement, like you hear from retired athletes, like it was hard. It was like a devastating kind of thing, like a breakup almost. So I was just sitting there on the couch, didn't want to move. And she's like, you have to get up and do it. And honestly, I always say like pickleball saved my life, because I wasn't doing good. I wasn't socializing. I wasn't mentally and physically healthy, from just kind of cold turkey and working out. My health results weren't very good. And I was like, well, if the doctor says I have to move, I have to go and move, because, maybe my life depends on it. And basically I finally got out to the pickleball, and I got addicted right away, and I just started playing. And then basically I was like, this is the easiest sport ever. I'm just going to go become a pro in this sport. So I called some friends out, some other MMA guys, and played with them, beat them. And then the time when I got like addicted though, when I realized, oh, this is it. I went and actually played with pickleballers. And I just got my butt whooped by like 60-year-old ladies. And that's when I became addicted, because I was like, it all clicked. Is like, this is like jujitsu. Like, it's not an athletic thing. It's a skill thing. Like, there's so much more into it than just like hitting a ball. And you can be an athlete, but that's not everything about it. So that changed my whole perspective on it, because I was like, this is the only sport I can lose to a 60-year-old lady in. And it was just awesome and humbling. And I haven't stopped since.
Wow. Incredible story. I mean, awesome to hear. And that's pretty much everyone's pickleball trajectory. Yeah. It was my pickleball trajectory years ago when I was losing to the grandmas. Eventually, I upgraded to the housewives, and now I'm kind of in that realm. So yeah, tons of growth, which is awesome about pickleball. And speaking of the MMA people that you play with, who are some of those names that people might know?
Honestly, my ace in the hole is Cody Stamen, UFC bantamweight. He was injured. He's been injured for a few months, but yeah, he was who I would play with. Pretty much every day we would play. Like, even though he was trained and I was retired, he'd make the time a few times a week. Manel Kopp got out there one time with Cody. Who else did I play with? I played with Mike Chiesa a little bit, Alan
cool.
Joban. And then there's other people just within the community. Like there's a manager, Danny Rube. He's a manager of quite a bit of the fighters. Ruby Sports. He plays very good. So we play Mick Maynard, the matchmaker of the UFC.
Yeah.
Big pickleball also. So we get quite a bit out there. Like even yesterday I had, just an ESPN cameraman that we met, talked about pickleball. And he's like, next time I'm in Vegas, I'm going to join and come out and play with you. So he did. So we have a nice, MMA community kind of, adjacent to the fighters. But, like most current athletes, they're kind of committed to their sport at the moment.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But
fair enough. And question 3, getting into that pickleball schedule, how often are you playing now?
I mean, I try to play every day, honestly. Like,
it's great.
Like, I try to play every day, which it typically, adds up to maybe 4 or 5 times a week. With it getting dark so early now, that really, puts a wrench in things. But got a good morning crew here, and then I got some people that I can play with in the afternoon. So yeah, I probably play. I try to carve out a little time, and sometimes I get busy. I'm doing, some things post-retirement and everything, but my schedule's pretty open, which is great. You know how it is out at pickleball when you're playing during the day, everyone's just, what the heck do they do? Like, you know what I mean? Everyone's
it's like the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like how do all these guys have time off at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday?
Right.
But yeah, I probably play, I'll say 4 or 5 times a week. And then, sometimes there's stretches where it's like, oh, you have to buckle down and you don't play for a week or something, but then you come back refreshed and, really, really missing it and play good too. So
solid. Question 4, what are some of your pickleball pet peeves?
Oh,
is Cody out there lobbing and getting you in trouble and somebody's hitting the overhead on you or anything like that? Anything that you're
what? The lobs, I would say like the lobs and like, I guess the bangers, like the hard drivers, I would say the thing is, I respect every type of skill. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you can lob me and you can get a lob in good, because like my lobs are like maybe 1 out of 5. I say I have a good lob per month. Every time I hit a good lob, I'm like, oh, that was my lob for the month. Like that was all I was going to get, So when someone lobs me, I'm like, oh, it's annoying, but it's like good shot. When you bang me, it's like, that's me. I gotta combat that.
Sure.
So I don't really get annoyed at anyone's skills. It's more personalities than with pet peeves. It's just kind of like, for rec play, for instance, it's like, sometimes you're just matched up with someone that's beginning. Oh, so we'll split. You're good. I'm good. Maybe these 2 guys aren't as good. Like, let's put them on our teams. And then like basically to hit to the weaker player, like I think taking rec play, which is all I do actually, like overly competitive, like everyone wants to win and play, but it's like, it's more personalities out there because it's such a great community. It's such a nice, welcoming community.
Yep.
So just when you see kind of the, people that kind of like want to win by just calling like close outs, it's just like, okay. You know what I mean? Like if something's close, whatever. I mean, I get it, out to out. You got to keep people accountable as well.
Sure.
But yeah, I think for the main part, it's just would be like maybe an overbearing personalities in rec play.
Sure. Fair enough.
Wind it down. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because it's like we're all having a good time and we all want to win. We all do. But I think there's a level to it when you're playing with people that are just beginning.
All right. Fair enough. Question 5. You have so many skill sets when it comes to MMA, and which ones transfer over the best on the pickleball court?
That's a good question, because it's funny, like since I got whooped by the 60-year-old ladies, I kind of like, that was what got me like, oh my God, like this is a sport I need to play like that. Like I couldn't, So funny enough, like me, like I go out there and everyone's like, oh, he's a young ex-professional athlete, fighter, probably just hits like violent shots and tries to hit me with the ball and everything. And it's like, I just play like an old person, like straight up. Old people play faster than me in a way. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I get into a hand battle, I'm like, oh shit, I've just been dropping and trying to dink like with everyone. So it's kind of funny. Like I took my kind of play and like I molded it after those ladies that beat me, because I was like, that's what pickleball is. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And we all have the idea of like hit, drop, soften it up. But now that there's younger people a lot playing, they're really good at speed ups. I think it's a faster game and people are playing a lot faster. So I think for me, the thing that translates out there is just, I think, just the consistency. You know, I just try to stay consistent with things, and, you know, just know like, all right, like being a competitor for 20 years, I kind of know like, okay, like you can limit your mistakes by doing this.
Sure.
Strategies, I guess, you know what I mean? So for me, I think the skills that translate are more just like being consistent, and also just like the pressure, like, all right, it's 9-9 or we're down, like we're not panicking. For one, not panicking because, you know, we got to just stay calm and win, but also not panicking because what I always say in pickleball is like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like someone's going to dink me to tears. Like I've been punched in the face, kneed in the face, knocked out in front of a ring. You know what I mean? Sure. So I'm like, at the end of the day, we're adults hitting a wiffle ball. Like if you hit the ball past me, like it's not going to hurt me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I kind of just keep like an outlook of like, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to lose a rec game of pickleball. So I can stay pretty relaxed, I think.
Right on. Fair enough. Next question. This comes from my mom, actually. She wants to know, how good are you? And I think she might be looking for a mixed doubles partner. So I think that might be where the question comes from.
That's a tough question because, like we all know, it depends on the day. Yeah. But it also depends on the partner, the ball, how my paddle's acting that day, how the sun is shining, how the wind is blowing, how the court is. You know what I mean?
A lot of factors.
So many factors, because it's never me. It's never me that's not playing good. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I play, I think, with people all up and down the board, and it's like I can lose the people sometimes down here and beat people up here. So I'm probably stuck in there if we're like talking actual rankings, maybe like a 3-5. I haven't done like that ranking. But it's like, we all know, like, oh, when I have a special day, I can be a little higher than that. Sure. And on another day, I can be a little less. But I can, you know, like, it's one of those things. I feel like anyone, it's like, all right, you can play with anyone. You feel comfortable with anyone. Because at the end of the day, okay, you're going to lose a game of hitting a wiffle ball at each other. Like, it's okay. But yeah, I'm right there. I mean, I'm consistent. Like, I don't feel like I go in and it's just like, oh my God, like he's super good, but it's kind of like, oh, maybe didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Like I'm not like the best of my crew. I'm not the worst. I can just, like I said, I can kind of play with anybody in there. I don't have any like cool tricks or anything.
It's not about cool tricks though. I mean,
but you know what I mean? Like,
it looks cool, but doesn't necessarily translate to wins.
Yeah, like I don't think I've ever hit an ATP or an Ernie. But I don't think I've ever tried them. You know, I can get third shot drops pretty consistently. That's kind of like my game.
Okay, solid. That's a good foundation.
Yeah, it's a good foundation, but then you need to learn how to mix the shots. To me, it's about picking the shots, you know,
sure.
It's shot selection. Not doing the same thing every time and doing it to how they're playing and reacting. So, yeah. But yeah. Okay. I would love to play with your mom. I play with anyone. That's the best thing of the sport is like, sometimes you're out there with this motley crew and you're just like, how do all of us know each other? And how are all of us just going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're all having a good time and there's no way we would all know each other another way. So
yeah, everyone comes from many different walks of life and
yes,
you all come onto the pickleball court, try to win, but have a good time.
Yes, exactly.
Next question, Cody. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just said I'd love to play with your mom anytime.
Oh yeah, dude, she would be honored. All right, next question. Cody and Danny asked this, so I'm already sensing a little bit of a rivalry here. But they said, "Who's your favorite person to play with in Las Vegas?"
Ooh. Since they both asked the question, I have that. I will say with Cody and against Danny.
All right, fair enough.
But there's I think Cody was like, he's like, I asked the question, and just to tell you the answer is me. And I was like, what is it? And I was going to say someone that hasn't beat me in months. But the only reason I said that is because he hasn't played in months because he's injured. So he literally hasn't beat me, where before that he was actually beating me pretty consistently. But
maybe your skills have gone up a little. Maybe the next time.
No, I mean, like consistently, meaning like we were like, you know how it is. It's like back and forth. We're always doing it. But yeah, I think maybe they've gone up as well. So, but anyway, to answer the question, like Danny, yes, because he's really, really good, and Cody, yes. But you know how it is with players too. Like there's another guy out there. It's like he's probably the best player at our park, John, and it's like I love playing against him because he's the best player I can play against.
Sure.
I always want to get the win against him no matter who he's with. And when you play with him, you're kind of just relaxing because you're like, oh, he's the best player. We got this. And then you don't play that good, you know?
Right.
So basically, I would say both of them are good. And I thank both of them because both of them have been like, have really like fed my pickleball like addiction skill because they've both been kind of my like aces in the hole.
Cool.
So thank you, Danny. Thank you, Cody, for always being there, always being willing, whether you're tired from training or just got off a flight from a fight and you're rushing to Oakleaf. You know, I appreciate everyone that goes out there.
Right on. I got one more question for you. This is a new segment called Cage to Court. So I'm going to give you 4 MMA fighters.
Okay.
And you're gonna rank them in order from who you think would be the best on court.
Okay.
I got Demetrius Johnson.
Okay.
Henry Cejudo, Uriah Faber, and yourself. Who's the king of the court?
Oh, well, I would be the best because I'm obsessed and I don't think anyone else has ever played. And I'm like maniacal about pickleball and that's all I do. Right.
Okay.
Like that's easy. But looking at that, I would put Demetrius Johnson against any other. Like when you said him, I was like, oh, that's number 1. But then you use me, and to be honest, it's just not fair.
Sure.
Because I've been playing for 2 years,
right,
consistently, right? But Demetrius, like he is, you know what I mean? Like he's a student of the game. He's a scientist. He's probably the best ever that did an R skill, and he did it with technique. Yes, he is an athletic person, but you know what I mean? Like when you look at him, it's like he is a technical maestro, you know what I mean? He's a technical savant. He's a scientist, right? And then I would actually say, I mean, dude, I don't know. I think I would pay money to watch Cejudo and Faber play against each other because I feel that would be just a folly of a game and it would just be a disaster. And Faber has told me he's played, but I would probably take Faber because Faber is so weird with things. Like, so one thing I'll say about fighters and wrestlers in general, like even though it's the hardest sport to do, like let's say, just say wrestling, like wrestlers aren't really great at other sports. Like, can you see like Chad Mendes like dribbling a basketball? Like, no, like, you know, they're like wrestlers, you know what I mean? But like, I think every other sport plays with, you know, balls, you know? So they have that coordination where ours is more of a brute thing. So it's like, even though wrestlers are like the best athletes, or it's like the hardest sport, it's really hard to get a wrestler that can like finesse a volleyball.
Sure.
Because they're just like brute athletes. But Faber, for some reason, he's just like the ultimate competitor also. And so is Cejudo, obviously. And he just like, he will do things so ugly and they just like work. Like I've played like other sports with him, just like messing around, and you're just like doing everything wrong. But it, like, he just, You know what I mean? Like just so I feel like Faber would find a way to be good even if he hadn't played. And Cejudo, once again, just being a wrestler, I don't see him being like super like coordinated. But again, the good thing about these guys and any other professional athlete, which is great with the PBX, is like these guys put their mind to being good at something, they're going to be good at it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Athletes, athletics, wrestling, you know, sports in general teach you all that. And it transfers so much over to life skills and other skills. So yeah, I have no doubt any of them being elite at what they do now would be good if they tried. But as of right now, like a Cejudo Faber pickleball game would be just hilarious. And I would love to watch it, but I think I got Faber in it.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have. Any last
Sorry,
words?
long answers, but I'm having fun. This is cool, man. Thank you.
Oh yeah, no worries. But that's all I got. But any last words?
No, that was great. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I look forward to meeting you. Look forward to competing in the PBX, and you know, you guys will hopefully be hearing more from me in the pickleball world.
Awesome. Joseph Benavidez, everyone. Watch out for him on the pickleball court.